Please tell me someone got that reference.
Welcome back to another episode of Deadlands from Original Box Set. I'm the... Oh man, they don't call them Game Masters. I'm the Marshal, Max, and with me we have Anne McDade, played by Sarah. And we have Father Cross, played by James.
How's it going?
And finally we have Soy Mage, who is playing...
Reliable Dr. Webb.
Webb. I was about to call you Dr. Walters. And I was like, no, he's not Dr. Walters. Dr. Walters is the other Pinkerton. Tonight we will not be joined by our cowpoke and gunslinging hero, for he is dealing with life at this moment in time. He is be back next week, but for the purpose of the game, his character will be included and will be discussed, and it'll all work out better for the story. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and let's get this show started. All right, there's no like intro music or anything, so just imagine something cool just happened, and now we're back. Yeah. No, actually, don't do that. So let me set the scene. Right now, we are on a train between Dodge City and Little Rock. And on this train is passing through the edge of the Coyote Confederation. They're riding on the train. The Dixie Rail Company owns this train. And the group so far, the train ride has been eventful. Within the first day of travel, the train got attacked by dog soldiers who boarded the train, and it led to a bit of a calamity. And as the night went on, things just kept getting a little bit more so. Near the end of the night, one of the youngest passengers has disappeared. Does anybody remember the young missing person's name? Seeing if anybody actually took notes other than myself.
I only have the names... Oh, wait, no. Kyle Walters is not...
His name is Natty, but he goes by Hawkeye. Because he's a kid who's just like, yeah, and he's disappeared. Natty has. As the posse began to form up with Bixby, because Bixby was the hired gun who's been riding in the engine this whole time, began exploring the train looking for the missing Natty. They didn't find him, but instead found something else. And it led to a chase through the train after an unholy reckoning up near the engine itself. We're going to start off tonight's game session not at the scene, because we'll be catching up to that. We're going to be getting to the part we're going to be paying attention to our good Dr. Webb, who has been not part of the hunt for this, but that doesn't mean that he didn't hear things. Webb was last left tending to patients as the night had rolled on, and so you would have been in one of the cars when Bixby walked by. You would have seen the man you hadn't seen beforehand. Hired gun, definitely looked like a bit of a strong character, carrying a rifle and a pistol, head to the back of the train. And then later, at some point in time, the trio with Bixby, it was Father Cross,
Ollie,
and Bixby. Right. And I'm trying to remember, were they running? They were running through the train, and then at the end, the door was so stuck for some reason they could not get up. So they couldn't get through, so they decided to climb to the top of the train and try to get over the next car. Somehow that door had been wedged shut.
No idea how that happened at all.
None.
Frame
whatsoever.
had become bent beyond easy access. Oh boy.
Whoops.
I have to go kick someone out of the room, otherwise she's going to keep crying. From this point on, if I will leave it to Sarah to continue the story. I'll be right back.
All right. So while the door was wedged and they were trying to get through, there was some kind of creature running along the outside of the train, kind of jumping from car to car. And so, thinking that it might have been one of the dog soldiers that was still left, I decided to follow it until I realized it didn't quite move as humanly as expected. So, after chasing this thing and seeing kind of this deformed, stretched... Max, now that you're back, you want to describe the creature?
Yeah, it looked like a human for the most part, but parts of it seemed to have been pulled out like taffy. Arms were longer than they were supposed to, legs, feet. Feet were definitely larger, and the ears were not normal. It had fangs like the Nosferatu out of the old black and white movies, you know. And so this critter was not natural, as far as Anne could tell, and she realized it was a danger to the train.
So, naturally, I decided to get in a fight with it. I tried to keep my distance, but it soon proved bigger and, in some cases, faster than me. So, as I tried to slowly retreat, there was a gunshot that rang out, and I realized backup had arrived. The boys had made it through that mangled, bent-frame door, and so as not to reveal... the strange, extreme powers that the Lord has clearly bestowed on me, I feigned faintness and let them take care of this beastie, to which they totally did, and shot it multiple times until it finally disintegrated, even though it looked dead. And I think that's where we left off.
That is exactly where we left off. On the top of the train car... Ollie, Father Cross, and Dr. Walters charged the line, moved into positions, and each took quick shots at the creature. And if it wasn't for Dr. Walters, the creature might not have been slain so easily, because he got the last shot in before it fell to a heap on the ground. Clearly his was the last gun that fired. In that, poor Ollie, his Winchester went off in his hand. A round jammed or something, and a massive explosion happened, sending the gun into pieces of shrapnel. He fell backwards on the top of the train car, and what happened next was purely only a blessing, because Father Cross was able to leap back and grab a hold of him before something terrible happened and he rolled off the train and into the darkness. And so that's where we're going to be picking up at this point in time. Father Cross is become aware of the situation and being crying out for assistance to get Ollie off the top of the train. Because there's no way Father Cross is doing it by himself. And Dr. Walters, at this point in time, is trying to personally figure out, do I jump down there and check out what just got killed, or do I help out Ollie? Anyways, that's where we're starting. And Dr. Webb, you're inside the train car. You are at the point where, because you're feeling okay. You got the window open, you got the air blowing across you. The gentleman up the way who's been coughing, you got him to actually move to the back near an open window so he's not coughing and it's not blowing in everybody's face. Thank God for that. Nobody needs cholera. And so you're sitting near the open window when Ollie and Bixby and Father Cross shoot past. Walters is sitting next to you at that point in time, and as they're running into the car in front of you. Walter stands up. You go to say something, and he goes in his normal, awesome way. You stay here, and I'll go see if they need help. And he dashes off with the rest of them. Within moments of them leaving, you hear a bang followed by bang, 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 bang. Multiple shots. The train is coming at a turn. So you see the night illuminate with gunfire. From what you can tell by your position, it looks like people are on top of the train. It's only about 6 shots you can reckon fire off. But after that stops, you're just like dead quiet. And everybody's like, oh my goodness, you know. Panicked as people are in the train, like, what just happened? And then you hear a yell, help! Someone help me, he's gonna fall off the train. He's hurt. And you did see one of those pops was really bright. And so this is where we're at. You can hear, and you're identifying the priest's voice yell. James, what would it sound like if Father Cross was yelling out for help?
By everything that's holy, someone get up here and help me.
All right, then unholstering the Gatling pistol, getting up, I'm definitely making my way towards the sounds of both gunfire and the sounds of people.
All right, you begin moving in that direction, and as you've moved into a position on the next car back away from the monster itself, it has fallen onto the ground. As you're taking a moment to adjust yourself, put your things away, Dr. Walters leaps down from the top of the car that you're on onto the car nearby you. He might be he might be athletic enough to handle that one, but it definitely looks like that might hurt. But he stands up quickly and brings a gun on it. So he's only standing a few feet away from you. And it doesn't look like he's seen you just yet. And you can hear crying from above you, from Father Cross.
I kind of pretend I'm coming to from my swooning.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like lean myself up onto my elbows and cry out and kind of look up at him and go, you saved me, Dr. Walters.
Not a problem, ma'am. All within the limits and powers of a Pinkerton detective.
Lol.
You can cringe later.
I help myself kind of slowly stand up, but kind of pretend to be weak and let him help me get to safety.
Okay. He will do so. Gently, he picks you up and make sure that you look fine. He says, it doesn't look like it hit you, did it? Don't no bites or any scratches?
I don't remember. I don't know if I've
you
as
dodged
I say that, I'll
everything,
kind of
but
oh, I'm great.
yeah.
As I kind of like say, like it all seems so fuzzy. I don't think so. I think I managed to flee just in.
Yeah, she was a regular ballerina.
Also, don't look at my blood.
He will say, don't worry, looking back at the dead thing, that seems now not as elongated as it was. You've noticed that there's like a change in its actual shape. He looks to it and then says to you, don't worry, I'm a good, gentle doctor, and if you need to be checked out, I promise you, I have been trained in the Christian ways of tending to women patients.
I think more than anything, kind doctor, I just need to rest. Would you take me back to my chair?
I can do that. I can definitely do that. I need a man here to watch. I need a man here to watch this. I will go get my assistant.
All right, already behind you, good doctor. And
So-
he's standing there with his pistol already drawn and kind of aimed at whatever pardon my French, whatever the hell this thing is on.
All right. When you got to where everyone else was, they had pried the door open, and so as you make your way through the cart where you're at, you see it looks like a person, a human being, best by description, that has taken about 4 rounds to the head.
Oh, so what we like to call in the medical field a splitting headache.
That's a good one.
I like it. Dr. Walters will now escort Miss and Miss McDade back to your quarters so that you might get some rest. He will also suggest something to knock the edge off of, and he will produce one of his little tonics that have opium and alcohol in them.
I'll gratefully take some, but try to keep it.
Okay. He'll escort you in the room. He'll even so much as to dawdle around to make sure you're fine before he actually leaves. Dr. Webb, when you step out and you look down and this whole engagement has taken place, you are watching the remnants of this corpse physically change. Its body mass and size, hands, which are large, are becoming more normal in size. Shredded clothing still remains shredded, but its elongated legs are returning to what would be a more human dimension. But you don't see anyone crying out for help, and you definitely don't see Father Cross.
Father Cross, where are you? Father Cross.
Father Cross, you and Bixby are on the top of the train at this point in time. Ollie has, after the gun went off, he rolled. And so you have got a hold of Ollie's shirt and whatnot, and his shirt and shoulder area. And Bixby is reaching over the side, trying to grab a hold of either pants or legs at this time. Ollie's gun handle is still in his hand, gripping, and his hat has blown off and is now trailing behind him as he lays limply on the side of the train. You and Bixby need to make strength tests to pull him up, and you must succeed in beating, between the two of you, an honorous 7. Did I ever fix the roll 20 to where we can see the dice rolls over here? I think I did.
See the dice rolls over where?
Oh, on to the current page. Nope, that's too big. Nope, that's not it. Nope, I got rid of it because I put the little boss thingy down in the corner.
Oh, before we do anything, we need to do our chips.
Do we? I don't care if you guys do chips.
Remember, kids, chips, not even once.
Yes, go ahead and get your 3 chips. I'll drag out mine too here in a second. Let's see.
Sweet. And you said we each, or at least one of us, has to be an honorous 7.
No, you do. It would be a 9 if he wasn't helping. He's an NPC. He doesn't actually roll dice.
Right. Okay.
We're all drawing 3 dice, right?
Yes.
Oh, 3 chips. What game am I?
You're playing one that lets you draw dice instead of chips.
I'm playing my own game over here, guys.
And you're winning, too.
I'm the best.
Oh, look at all those red chips. Beautiful red chips. Oh, Soy Mage, you need more red chips. Crickets. All right.
All right. I am actually going to... For this in particular, I am going to go ahead and spend one of my red chips as a part of my roll.
You don't have to. If you critically fail, you drop him. So I would consider that. But if you don't beat a 7, then you don't succeed. Otherwise, you can just call out for more help, and hopefully somebody will help you.
Okay, let's see how the strength check works.
A 5.
Yep. So I will... Because I've been yelling, what, for the past couple minutes right
No,
now?
not even a minute's worth of time.
Okay. Is he slipping?
No. You have a good hold on him.
All right. So what I'll do is I'll keep trying to pull him up and keep him to a point that, you know, that he can get his leg kicked up. So
the reason it's
our
an
other
honorary
friend
7 is because Ollie is not awake.
Oh,
Yes.
you said he's still gripping the rifle?
Yes. Like a good gunslinger, even in death, he'll hold on to his guns.
Is the rifle down or is it
Down.
okay?
All right. As you're pulling and you've made your tug, you're trying as much as you can. Bixby's got a hold of some pants, and he's trying to assist at this point in time. You hear a voice crying out, "Father Cross, where are you?"
Up here.
All right. Dr. Webb, you hear it come from the side of the train.
Still trying to keep my pistol trained on the creature. Even with it shrinking, I don't know what it may do.
Right.
And I'm trying to look around and... Father Cross, is this a trick or are you really good at throwing your voice? Because I could swear, you sound like you're outside the train.
No, it's not a trick. Get your God-fearing butt up here and help us.
Alrighty, then I will carefully... I'm still watching the body as I'm backing up, trying to make sure I don't fall over, obviously.
Yes. Of course.
Before trying to find a one of the train ladders so I can step up and get on top of the roof.
Not a
And try
problem.
and carefully make my way over to Father Cross.
You do. You pull yourself to the roof and make your way over to Father Cross. This reduces the difficulty and requires no roll to pull Ollie up to the top of the train, as the three of you are able to wrench over and pull him up.
Okay.
May I ask what it cost you to get up here?
We wanted to go for a walk.
Bixby butts in and says, "The door was locked. We couldn't get it open. It was the best way to get over the next car. Something had jammed it shut. Seeing that you got past that, must have got it open. What was that thing?
The closest I can tell in my medical expertise is something beyond.
Lord save us all. All right. What do you guys want to do now? You're on top of a train, driving through the Coyote Confederation in the middle of the night with a man who's got a hand wound. Father Cross, you took an injury too, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Okay. So you got a man who's got a busted gun, and he's definitely unconscious. It's like when the gun exploded, it popped back and hit him in the face.
All right. I look at him and I look at Bixby. I say, would you check to make sure that we don't have anything else roaming the train?
Bixby gives a nod.
We'll get him down and back into the train.
All right, so it takes 3 people to get him off the roof easily, and because it takes 2 to lower him and the 1 to catch him. Bixby will catch him and be able to hold him, and then you guys walk. Where are you taking him to?
Well, once we get down, then I'll send Bixby off.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna lay him down in the forward car since they're out of the 2 cars we're between, since no one is there. And I'm going to actually use lay on hands on him.
Okay.
Because it looks bad enough that, it's going to take him a while to heal from normal. I don't remember the level of wounds he took.
Unconscious. I mean...
So he's critical?
No. He got whacked in the head. In other words, there's no wound associated with it that your magical powers are going to remove. He just needs to sleep.
Right.
Or smelling salts or something along those lines. There's also a doctor right next to you. No, it was like, you took like 2 wounds, he took 1.
Oh, that's right, because I took the most of the brunt of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Game stats wise and everything, he's going to be fine. Mechanically, for the purpose of the game, he's knocked unconscious.
Right. I was more concerned about the wounds. If it's just 1 wound, really looking at it, then I will leave it as is.
Okay. And you do so. So, I mean, you look at the wounds, and from your experience, it doesn't look that bad. So you're not going to lay on hands. Dr. Webb, Dr. Webb, do you want to, prognose the patient?
Yeah. I'll prognose both and Father Cross.
You're unaware of Father Cross's injury.
Okay. I thought you said it was a hand injury.
Father Cross received a piece of metal to the back of his leg.
Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't seen that yet, so...
All right.
Yeah, this train and my leg have not been the best of friends.
So do you want to ascertain his injury? Because he's unconscious. You don't have to make any dice rolls. It's pretty obvious. Ollie's unconscious.
Yeah, this gentleman is... Yeah, I'll just look at him like... Yeah, this man is unconscious. He's just going to need some sleep. And maybe a cold compress for when he wakes up, because his head's going to be throbbing when he does.
Bixby, seeing that you two have this under control, is going to wander the train. He heads back to the first passenger car and immediately goes to Anne McDade's cabin. gives a knock on the door.
Hello?
Ma'am, you okay in there?
I'm doing just fine. How much time have I had alone? So
Probably about 5 to 10 minutes at most.
okay, so I've changed clothes, so I'm not in anything bloody or gory, and I've cleaned my weapons and everything. So
Yes.
I'll open the door and kind of like pant, like I'm still kind of verklempt. But I'll kind of like, just all this excitement tonight. Who would have thought a train ride to Dodge would be so eventful?
This is definitely one of the hardest ones I've ever been on. I mean, dog soldiers, and I don't even know what that thing was. He steps in and leans a little... Go ahead.
This is Bixby?
Yes.
Okay.
He leans in a little bit and goes, the Pinkerton fella says he doesn't know either, so... It looked all sorts of strange.
It was terrifying. I don't know what I would have done if the good doctor hadn't come along and saved.
He kind of has a look of surprise on his face. When you say that, that creature was that thing was after you?
I think so. I went to go to the ladies' room, and all of a sudden, before I knew it, I had been swiped, and I was several cars away, and
oh my goodness,
just trying to get away from this.
I had no idea. If I'd known that you might have been in danger, we might not have taken those shots. We had climbed to the top of the car and saw the creature was going after something. It was too dark to tell. There was somebody there. That was you. You were very lucky to have gotten away.
I think so too. And thank y'all for coming and destroying whatever that.
Well, if you get a moment, keep Ollie, the cowpoke that was with us, in your prayers. His gun broke, exploded in his hands, metal and whatnot. He is not awake yet, but doctor says it's nothing but a flesh wound and he might just have a concussion, so...
Oh, poor Ollie. I'll absolutely have him in my prayers, and if there's anything I can do, of course, just like...
He gives a nod. He says, I've got to make some rounds on the train, make sure everything else is safe. You stay here, and I'll be back shortly, and we'll have that coffee. And he'll smile.
I smile back. That sounds wonderful. I'm sure there's lots to discuss about what happened. So I'll be interested to hear your...
He leaves, and this gives you a chance to do whatever as he wanders back down the train. What would you like to accomplish at this point?
Now that I'm changed, I want to go back to the compartment where the woman and her kids are, and see... I actually wasn't around, I think, when they announced that Natty was leaving. I think I had left already.
Yes.
So I don't think I'd be on the lookout for him, but at least I can go back and...
The Thompsons is their name.
I'm writing that down.
Hang on, let me check to make sure.
I believe it was...
Thompson lost her husband. Loudermilk is the name of the family that had all the children.
Oh, the annoying kids, right.
Yes.
Got it. I'm concerned about the woman then, the Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so you will head back, and at this point in time, I'm assuming that you guys would have brought Ollie back to this car as well.
I'm taking a moment. I look at Dr. Webb and I say, "Did you see it?"
Ooh, this conversation. Okay, before we get to that conversation, we'll get to that conversation. This is important. So before that, we want to check on the rest of the cars. All right. So you get back to Miss Thompson, and so it's you guys aren't there yet. You get back. Miss Thompson is there. The lights have been turned down in this car. Everybody's huddled. As you come in, one of the gentlemen sitting near the door is the black man who was at the back gambling, the Pony Express rider.
Right.
You see he's sitting by the door as you come in. Everybody seems to be asleep, but he's not. He's got a shotgun across his lap. He tips his hat. Ma'am?
Is everything all right in here? Trying to keep my voice down because people are sleeping.
Bixby told me to sit by the door just in case something happened. He said after that there was a man running around the train attacking people. I'm supposed to make sure these people get a good night's sleep. He'll come relieve me in the morning.
All right. Well, thank you for your vigilance, and I'll kind of duck into the compartment of the woman and make sure they're all set and like sleeping or get them what.
You go over to the Thompson's compartment and they've set up curtains. People have set up curtains or just laying something over a string or a piece of yarn to kind of create some privacy. You go back over there and you slide it back. Miss Thompson is still awake. Her children aren't. She had 2 kids and they're laying out on the bench, and Miss Thompson has a candle, or sorry, a little lantern. It's more decorative than anything, and it's turned down real low, and she's got her Bible out in front of her.
Hey, darling, how you feel?
I heard gunshots. Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. I think it was, I don't want to alarm her, so I was like, I think it might have been a leftover dog soldier, but,
oh my goodness.
That's not anything to fear anymore.
Okay. She looks down at her Bible and puts a piece of white fabric into the pages before she closes it, and she realizes the man's handkerchief that she's sticking in there. And she looks up to you and she pats the chair next to her and says, "You can sit if you would like."
Sure. You're not able to get some sleep?
I just can't close my eyes right now.
That's understandable. I'll take out the tonic that the doctor had given me and pass it to her. It's
Okay.
not-
She'll take it. Thank you. She puts it into like her little pocket on the front of her bag that's sitting on the bench next to her. You're so very nice. Thank you for being so considerate for us. God bless you.
And you as well. I'm sorry for your loss on this trip. This should have been a trip of joy for you.
It was going to be. We have a homestead. He just got finished building it. Now it's a house, and I don't know how I'm going to make money once we get out there. I mean, there'll be hands and everything, but who's going to listen to a woman?
You'll find a way. And for what it's worth, I'm not sure how long I'll be in Dodge, but I'll help you any way I can.
She'll smile. She'll thank you again for being so kind. Do you want to have more conversation with her? That would just be like non-role playing. I wanted to make sure we kind of show that she's distressed and everything. But I mean, did you want to spend time with her specifically for a while?
Like if I'm kind of just there if she needs someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
But if she like starts to drift off or wants to go back to her Bible, or the conversation kind of goes, I'll just excuse myself and tell her I'll check in on her in a while.
Okay, then the only piece I think it would be important that she talks about is how in short, she talks about how she left her family, her father's business, the one that she was going to help her brother run, all to come out to here, all for this moment. And so to kind of like just express that, you know, she doesn't know what to do or how to move forward, and she feels really out of place. And so that's where the conversation goes. And so you spend a decent amount of time, and it's not like a perpetual cycle of, oh, woe is me. Talking to her gives her some reassurance that she can be a bit of a stronger individual. She can be there to, you know, make a change. And that's where the conversation goes. So it's not just like She idly goes back to off to doing her own thing. You guys do spend time to having like that close connection and talk. So definitely make sure to jot her name down so that later on, if you're ever in Dodge City, you can look her up.
What's her first name?
We don't have one. Let's ask Chat to give us one. Chat, Miss Thompson is the only thing we know her as, and so this wonderful lady needs a first name. So as soon as Chat pops up with that, go ahead and write it down. I'll write it down too. And basically, this is a contact, somebody that you know, because I think contacts are important in every game system. Ooh, there we go.
Nice.
Very nice.
Okay. Now for that other important conversation, back over with Father Cross and Dr. Webb. You asked him a question. You want to start back over with that?
Did you see it?
I saw as it was transforming back down, but
Where is it?
I left it over. I left it where it was in order to get you guys up. After that, I haven't come back to go get it. So the body's still there.
Show me.
Come with me.
For the moment, I'm going to leave Ollie where he's at.
Sure. All right. And you get back to the scene. There, laying on the flatbed cart amongst the cargo, is a pool of black blood.
No corpse.
Now let me check the description again. Pool of black blood. Yep, no corpse listed in that description. No pockets to rummage through anything. The clothing is there, though.
Give me just a second. I'm going to go grab my bag. So I'm going to go back to where I left my medical bag, get it, and then I'm assuming in there, I've got probably a couple of little, like, not quite test tubes, but something I could put, like, a little bit of the black blood
Vials.
into. So
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to grab a couple of vials of that, one of which for myself to keep for experiments. The other of which, as soon as we arrive at our destination, I'm going to mail off back to the house.
Okay. When you were examining the pool of blood that's been left behind, it's black, it's very thick, and when you swab up some of it, other blood tries to go with it. Even blood that you didn't try to gather it, so it's kind of tarry.
Well, this is slightly unexpected, but I'm gonna... If part of it comes with it, then I'm just gonna grab it up as well. I'm like, worst case scenario, it's all part of...
Yep. It's just... Oh. All right, so you probably see you want a vial for yourself and a vial to send back. Make sure to put that in your notes so that you can have it later to discuss. Father Cross.
Based off the shape of the pool, it looks like the whole body might have been soaked in oil or something.
Yes, and the body disappeared, but the clothing stayed behind. There's even some of this oily stuff inside the clothing. But you don't find that out by yourself. Dr. Webb's kind of poking around and examining stuff.
Right. I look at him. Dr. Webb, is this the way it was laying?
No, there was a body here when I stepped away. But I don't know what caused such rapid...
I'm stepping over the mess, and I say, is this the way the body was laying? And I'm pointing at the black ichor.
If you're referring to the way the body was laying with its head facing me and legs facing straight ahead, then absolutely. Otherwise, that was how it looked when I found it. Other than that, there was no head whatsoever. It looked like someone had managed to get off a handful of shots into it.
That would have been us. I look at him and I say, now, this is a suit, correct? Or, like, just common clothing?
Oh, it looks like a pair of tattered pants and a button-up shirt. I'm probably missing half the buttons.
Okay.
Dr. Webb, the smell of this stuff, when it's, it has to be like 3 or 4 inches away from you, but when you get close enough, it's strong. It smells like rot.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay. The smell is definitely not conducive to clear thinking. So,
I'll pull him to my side. I'm staying upwind of it.
Okay.
Well, based off evidence and the fact that Bixby, Ollie, and I went to the last car to find a child, this is one of the corpses that we were, or was one of the corpses that we were hauling.
Back in car number 13.
if that is the case, then perhaps we should go very quickly see if we can lock it down to ensure that no one goes in and preferably nothing comes out. At least until we arrive at our destination and we can get some extra hands up.
My thoughts exactly.
All right. So the two of you are going to leave the puddle behind. I need the two of you to make a... It's not... 1 second.
I do want to grab Ollie before we actually leave so we can place him somewhere more comfortable.
Cognition check from the two of you. I'm going to make it an onerous 7 for the Father Cross and a 5 for the detective. Excellent. We got an 11 from the detective and an 8 from the father. Both of y'all notice that the puddle of blackness, the terrible puddle of blackness, has gotten smaller.
More so than what would happen putting it into a pair of vials.
Yes. As you've looked up, some of it has receded from the cargo crates and left behind just a stain, a gray, blue-colored stain.
Almost like it's evaporating.
Yes. That's a very good assumption.
Considering we did pretty much make a mess around here, is there like a piece of wood or something nearby?
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna take that and use it to move the shirt.
Sure.
To look under to see if that's what we're getting, or it's looks like it's seeping through the floorboards.
Nope, it's gone there as well. The floorboards are intact. The shirt seems to have a dark, gray-blue stain to it now. The floorboards do as well. I'm going to hit that button. Ooh. It looks like the boss has lost a few hit points. It's gone down from 2,500 to 1,500. When we have a Steam boss now, and this is like my first attempt using it, just to let you guys know, if the Steam boss gets defeated, which is cool, it's defeated by bits, we'll be able to provide one of the players with 2 chips, and you get 2 chips, and you get to pick the audience member who's done it, who those 2 chips go for. Players, if you're also on the thing and you donate and it goes away, you 2 players can also give yourself 2 chips or whatever. You can even give chips to me.
Please don't do that.
Anyways, it's there. It is a nice little fun side game, and cool. Join in. I'm trying to get the dice rolls to appear. I'll worry about that after the break. So, you guys have become aware that the stuff is disappearing. Do you want to do anything else?
Well, give me just 1 second real fast to turn on a light, so I'm a whole lot more visible. Okay, I'm a little too visible. Sorry.
So my suggestion to you is a lamp, a small lamp that sits behind your camera.
Give me just 1 second. Let me kick on another light in the room. It should be a little bit better.
As we went from not seeing you to, dear God, still not seeing you, just now with a halo of light coming off that.
Apologies, chat.
Oh, it's the doggos. Hey, puppers.
Like, I can't stand how cute this is right now.
That is adorable.
Okay. Any better?
That is a lot better. We can talk about setup and lighting after the show. Right now, you're doing good. All right. I understand radio. I understand. It's just a fun side game that players, the audience can use. I gotta adjust stuff. But this is the first time run. But it's a way that the audience can engage and also help the players out by, when they're like, oh man, the players are winning. Give some chips to the marshal. Or, oh man, the players are doing terrible. Give some chips to the posse. That kind of thing. All right. So we got lighting situated. We talked about the stream boss. What are you guys doing now with your disappearing gooey monster?
Out of game, grabbing a flamethrower, setting fire to the whole train. In game,
At least wait until we get to Dodge City before you do that.
There are flamethrowers in this game, by the way.
I know. That's why I love them.
All right. So we're stuck on a train with disappearing bad guys. What's next? Taking Ollie and heading where? Or did you want to do something else with this almost completely gone gooey spot?
I'm not super worried about the gooey spot if the good father would like to bless the spot, because technically a body is re-died here. Then go ahead. I will grab Ollie as best as I can and attempt to make my way down to you said cabin 13 is where the bodies are?
Yes. So you're taking Ollie to cabin 13.
Yep. Well, I'm dropping him off in cabin 12. And
cabin 12 is a cargo cabin.
We were
cabin
in 10.
9. 10 is the kitchen and cargo.
Okay, then yeah, I'm dropping off in cabin 9, going down to cabin 13. And if anyone starts to question me, like, why are you back here? I will break out my badge and say, Pinkerton agent. And once I get to cabin 13, whoever is the nearest train member or train staff, I'm looking at them and saying, by order of the Pinkerton agency, no one goes in this cabin, no one goes out this cabin. If this is opened for any reason, I am immediately informed.
Well, you do have that happen as you enter the 10th train car. The conductor, Mr. Lockett, who is in his little private area, reading a book and organizing stuff as you come walking through. He's like, I'm sorry, you can't go back there. You inform him that you're Pinkerton and what you're going to do, and he just... Bixby's back there, and he'll be coming back this way shortly. You can just wait till he comes back this way? And he shrugs, as if that's supposed to be an answer. Do you take it?
Yeah, no, that is a polite answer, but it's not, to me, good enough.
Okay.
Good enough is making sure that door is locked, ain't opening for any.
Okay. So does Father Cross go with you?
What I'm gonna do is, and it will take me a minute to do it, is I'm gonna use the consecrate item miracle. What's in the cars before and after us?
What do you mean, what's in the cars? You're going to open boxes?
Oh, it's all cargo.
Okay. You get into car 11, you pull out a crowbar and pop the first box.
Oh, I thought we headed forward.
Well, you said as you were
when we
heading
actually
back.
had
I
to
just
fight.
figured you were grabbing a crowbar and
Oh,
starting to deface people's property.
No, I'm gonna grab my gear, and when we actually start heading back, and the conductor is trying to tell Dr. Webb
Mm-hmm.
to wait, I say, I need to perform a few religious procedures in the back. You'll forgive me, my son, if I don't ask permission.
A just kind of shrugs. You're the guys with guns. Why would I stop you?
I pat him on the shoulder and just go past him. But I do have the rest of my gear with me for this.
Sure. Okay, you get to, and as far as what the cargo is with that it's in 10, 11, and 12, you don't know. They're in boxes. The symbols on them range from what seems to be food parcels, bits of metal, a variety of parts, tools, and whatnot. So, cargo. Nothing strikes your fancy and goes, oh, hey, I know what that is. Nothing stands out and says, oh, no, this is a terrible thing to have there. No explosives, in other words.
Right. My brain was just going off in one way. I am pulling out, I keep forgetting the name of this pipe that I'm carrying around. I am pulling that out in car 12, and I'm going to kneel on one knee as I use consecrate armament on it as a precaution.
All right. So there we are. Pinkerton, Dr. Webb, Priest Father Cross standing at the precipice between 12 and 13. The door is shut. On the other side of that door, there are 8 bodies. There's supposed to be 9, but one of them got up and walked away. And there are the 2 of you. With one of your warriors, Bixby, far beyond this car most likely. He might have already been ambushed and eaten by the ravenous ghouls that exist beyond this doorway. And Ollie passed out in the other room. If only there was another champion who carried tomahawks and was super strong or something that might be able to aid you, but none such exist. And so there you are, car 13. Who's opening the door? Oh, I need to get dice together. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I originally hadn't planned on opening the door. I was just going to make sure it was locked.
Yeah, but when he starts to lock it, I go, that's not going to help.
How are you going to lock it? The conductor didn't give you any keys. Bixby's probably carrying keys. And
Good point.
maybe you could bar it somehow.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll just run up to the conductor and go, "Citizen, I need your keys." Yeah, no, that's not gonna fly at all. I'm pretty sure the conductor's already ticked at me for throwing my weight around as it is. So, I check my pistol, make sure it's fully loaded. See, it's fully loaded. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna open the door, uh, pistol very close to my face, mainly to make sure that it's not out, so as anything can immediately just grab it and I'm not able to use it.
All right. You grab the door. It is a door that swings inward. So as you grab the handle, you push down slightly, you begin pushing the door open, you kind of lean in. There are slats in the door that make air pass through it, but not be able to be seen through. There is a passageway that goes down the right-hand side of the train car, not exactly against the wall. There's a wall, a small layer of boxes and whatnot, and then on the left-hand side, there are the positions for all the bodies. As you step into the room and begin looking about, it's dim for the most part, but at the back of the car there's a lantern, and what you see is a rather grisly-looking sight. You see Bixby. He has a sack, a burlap-looking sack of some sort. It is soaked in blood around one side, and what looks to be a pair of hands sticking up out of it. As he turns to look at you as you open the door, he seems not to flinch nor jump. There are, by the way, there are 10 slats in this room for bodies or places, and 8 of them are still accounted for.
You okay there, bud?
He gives a nod. Yeah. Got the remains of my 2 caboose mates. I got the remains of one of my 2 caboose mates back off the back end of the train. Put it in this here bag as much as I could. I guess that would be the better thing to do than kicking it off into the desert, out into the wilderness. He gives a long sigh. From what you can tell, there's only half of a man in that bag. That bag is not big enough for a whole person. Bixby's hands are covered in blood. Father Cross.
I look at him and I say, by the look on your face, this isn't the first time you've run across something strange.
There's a lot of weird things out in the West, Father. I'm not gonna start talking or spewing out nonsense like the next cowpoke.
Then you saw what Ollie and I did, which was I start to step in slowly and with the pipe just tap the tipped over coffin, and I say, then you know that our friend we shot up farther up the train was this gentleman here.
He gives a nod. Yes, Father, I was back here when we discovered it. With you. And Ollie.
I just didn't want to try and make something up if you already knew something.
Stares at you strange for a minute. What, I would have forgotten that. It was a terrible mess. We ever figure out who it was chasing after?
No, I think it just had a yearning to go along the cars, but
Bixby is referring to the fact that you guys saw somebody was on the train car running away from it while it chased after someone. So you saw someone else. Yeah, that's what he's referring to.
I said,
continue, go ahead.
I say, no. I came down off the top of the car with you, but never figured out who it was after.
I did. It was Miss McDade, nice lady up in the first passenger car. Somehow it had grabbed a hold of her and took her up there, and she got free and started running. She's very lucky. He gives a nod, goes back to taking the half of a person and putting them off in one corner and lays them down. Father, if you could do me a favor and let my friend have at least a decent pass. He's a good guy. Come up from Mexico about 5 years ago. Worked hard, did good. I wish we had more of them to put here, but whatever that thing was, well, it ain't natural.
I'll do Last Rites, the Miracle.
All right. Is there any
Just
benefit for rolling this? I mean, or is it just something that you do and then it's done?
The Last Rites Miracle ensures that they rest in peace.
Excellent. Because you don't need a half zombie running around.
That's all we need is, someone just wakes up in the middle of the night in their hammock and there's a hand just crawling past them heading to the next car.
It's a bag with two hands out of it and the hands are crawling.
Just dragging the bag along.
Yep.
Because of its half a body, it's only doing the breaststroke, so it's just like...
Welcome back, Sarah. We're talking about zombies.
It will
Yay!
it will keep him resting in peace, which unfortunately the gentleman in the tipped over coffin did not.
He will, with your assistance, put that coffin back up and then slide, his name is Pedro, into the box. What's left of Pedro, anyways. Just to kind of make it a nice, clean setup so there's not a bag of Pedro sitting off to one side, because that's terrible.
And because I forgot to do it right when it went dark, I'm going to take one of my canteens, since I have all of my gear, and use the consecrate item on the water inside.
Okay.
Because it expires at every sunset. So I'm making holy water for to actually use on the Last Rites.
Excellent. Well, we'll just say you've got that taken care of.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a canvas coffin, and sometimes it's the best what you can have. All right. Bigsby wants to take you guys back to the caboose and show you the damages.
Before we go, I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of the holy water on each of the other corpses to actually perform Last Rites on each of them individually.
Sure.
Just in case.
Well, Bigsby wants you to put some of that holy water on him just in case it'll help him out.
I will do a blessing on him as well, and Dr. Webb, since I've got both of them in here.
Bless everybody. Bless everything. Bless you too.
And you get a blessed. And you get a blessed. And you get a blessed. And you corpse over there that's wanting to move, you get.
Let's just redirect the train. Instead of it going over the bridge, we'll just have it going down into the canyon, through the river, and I'll bless everybody with the baptism too.
Okay.
And whoever doesn't drown is blessed.
Bigsby will take you guys back to the caboose after that's been taken care of. He'll explain that David and Pedro worked back here, and this is where they were supposed to hang out, watching for make sure nobody come up behind the train, but now the doors are busted. There's nobody back here, so he's going to go ahead and shut up these doors, and with nobody in the caboose, he's going to have to keep making some patrols. Luckily, and I'm going to toss this out to the audience, luckily, he says, there's a young man on board who is a Pony Express rider who needs some extra work. I got him sitting with one of my shotguns, up with the in the passenger caboose. Passenger car? You saw him when you passed by. He'll be making some patrols too. Audience, the Pony Express rider needs a name. He's a runaway slave from the South. Got free, headed out west. Frank Malone. Is this somebody that you know, or are you just that good with making up names? He's like, Frank Malone, it's somebody I know. I expect this guy to die. So, Oh! Well, I'm glad I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, so
I just imagine there's like 3 notebooks in front of you right now going, oh, you need a name. Page 37, there's a good name.
He crosses through them every time he uses one. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so he says, a young gentleman by the name of Frank, and he's going to be doing some patrols with me. Anyone else that can help would help be good too, but I only need at least 2 people to walk the train.
You have my help. After what just happened, I want to make sure that everybody else gets to Dodge safely.
Yeah, and he reiterates, he says, yeah, the thing was after I had grabbed Miss McDade, I'm going to go have some coffee with her and make sure she's okay. I'm sure if you two were interested, I don't think she'd have too much of a problem with having some company.
I appreciate that, and the coffee will help for the upcoming patrol.
All right. All right. So this is the point. You get a knock at your door. Sarah, your character gets a knock at her door. Upon looking, you see Bigsby standing at the doorway.
Well, welcome back, sir. Glad to see you made it back without incident this time.
He gives a nod. We're assuming that you've made it back to your room after spending some time with Miss Thompson.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm ready to go get that coffee if you don't mind. Also, Father Cross and Pinkerton are here as well. I apologize. Did Webb go?
Good, bad, or indifferent. Coffee will help keep the sensor sharp.
Sure. All right. And he says, we're all going to go have some coffee. I'd really like it if you'd join us.
Of course. Let me just grab a little something to make that coffee a little sweeter. And I grab a little bit of whiskey.
All right. You guys make it to the dining section. Have a sit down. The guy is up. He plays with the little percolator for a little while to make you guys a fresh pot as you guys gotta have a chance to sit. So this is the point where the players communicate.
I thank y'all again for just for arriving when you did, and I don't know where I'd be if I'd still be here if it wasn't for y'all.
Miss Dade, did you ever figure out why it was after you?
I don't know. I got this feeling I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, that it could have been anybody that the creature would have snatched up just from.
Did you get a good look at it?
I mean, with the darkness and the shadows, and it moved just so fast, it was hard to see, except that its features were just all wrong.
I nod. Well, you don't have to worry about it. We made sure it was dead.
I nod and take a swig of.
Bixby says, we went back to the back of the train and the father did a blessing on all the individuals back there.
Thank you, Father. I'm sure they'll rest easier.
Did you get a chance to speak with Miss Thompson so that you were at her seats?
I did. She's got a difficult trek ahead of her, but I think she's got a good head to make it work for her.
Good. And she'll be able to take care of her husband when she gets back to Dodge. I'll make sure the Dixie Rail will definitely help with that. And the owner is a real nice gentleman and definitely will open his pockets to the less fortunate when something like this comes up.
That's just excellent. I know she'd appreciate any help she could get.
All right. So, Bixby just wants to kind of like have casual conversation, find out what you guys are really doing out here. You know, if you want to kind of get to that level of comfortness with him. He's not going to talk about the fact that 2 of his coworkers just died tonight or are missing. At least one's missing and the other one's only found half of him. Especially not in the front of Miss McDade. I will ask it is a cognition. Yes. Cognition roll from the 3 of you. And got a 4. But I apologize. I should always say it, but I don't. It's a 5. All right. Soy Mage, you're still on sharp. You have worked many nights in ERs. You have worked many cases with Walters where you guys have to be constantly busy, so you're sharp. You're on point. You do catch like some inferences and stuff like that. James, you don't. And unfortunately, neither do you. But Webb, you're noticing that Bigsby is being rather sweet on Miss McDade. Like he's sitting next to her. Every once in a while, he'll say kind words. He'll compliment her, the outfit, how strong she was or brave to try to get away from the creature and stuff like that throughout the conversation. And you can see that he doesn't break eye contact at all. And at some point, she makes a little a quip to kind of being funny and make lightheartedness during the whole conversation, and he has a good laugh about it. And you think back to your psychology professors, he's like, oh, that's what's happening here.
I will actually leave this option up to chat. Chat, would y'all figure Mr. Webb, good Dr. Webb, would be blunt and point this out, or is he just going to keep this to him?
Or would he try to take a moment to get Father Cross to go off and mind their business while, how do you guys want to move forward?
Like I said, I'm curious to see what chat would recommend here. Whatever's the most popular chat option, I will.
All right, cool. So, what is it that you guys? So you guys go through your stories of like, I'm going out west for this reason. I'm going out to do this. Webb, do you tell the rest of the people you're sitting with that you're actually on an investigation, like Walters would do?
No, I will. Walters can be the security link breach he wants to be. Mm-hmm. Webb is not.
He's a braggart.
Right. Okay. What about you, Father Cross? Are you going to tell them that you're hunting the devil?
No, but I am going to tell them the truth. The church sent me out to Dodge as a part of my ministry, which is the truth.
Okay. All right.
I just won't tell them that monster hunting is that ministry.
And McDade, are you going to, What is your story that you're telling people?
Oh, totally the truth. Not. I'm gonna say, the Lord just called me to that I was meant for something out west, and that He'd guide me if I just made my way, I'd end up exactly where I was meant to be.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And right now, you guys have no reason to disbelieve, any of the stories you're being told. So it's like, oh yeah, this is what really it is.
We're all liars.
Except Bigsby. This is my job. I do this. Maybe he's actually lying. Maybe not. But yeah, this is where he lives in Dodge, and so he does the runs back and forth.
The engineer's like, never seen this guy.
I did not lie. I just left out certain details of the truth.
To be fair, Anna didn't lie either. She left out certain details of her truth, too.
Technically saying classified isn't a lie.
All right. So you all are just, yeah.
We're tight-lipped.
That's the word. I like that one.
We are redactors.
So you spend probably about a good 30 minutes to an hour, maybe more, talking and enjoying each other's company. And at some point, Bixby gets up and he heads back to the other car and to send Frank, Mr. Malone, on a walk to the back of the train, to the front of the train to come up with to do a walk. And so he's going to leave you three alone as Bigsby leaves. He's got to go walk Malone around and show him some stuff. But he tells you he will be back.
Mr. Bixby, myself and Father Cross can do that. Besides, we need to go check on something anyways. So
he's kind of shocked at that. He's like, I'm much appreciate that.
Come on, Father Cross.
We did promise that we would help to ensure the safety of the train and the people on board.
I much appreciate that.
To be fair, I'm clueless, so I could be like, do y'all need help? I could come with you.
Oh no, we definitely have this taken care of. Out of game, this is because Riopel is the only person who actually made a decision, and it was be a good wingman and go for a walk with Father Cross.
So, Bixby will then offer, well, I have to go to the engine compartment, speak to the engineer. Would you like to see the engine? You could walk with me there.
Is that where all the buttons are?
He gives a nod.
I'd love that.
All right. So, you and Bixby get a chance to walk to the front of the train, and you guys do a patrol. This gives you guys a chance to mingle. I'll start with Father Cross and Dr. Webb. Is there anything in particular you need to discuss with the two of you or Malone in any way, shape, or form? Like, clue Malone in, don't clue him in, try to keep him... Because that way he can take notes.
I will definitely mention more of a be careful around the 13th cabin. We don't know what's completely going on, but it's also and I'll lie saying that it's the most damaged from the attempted raid earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
Be cautious.
Sure. He has no reason to disbelieve you, so he will just believe that that's what you're telling him. And when you say the 13th car, he'll do a cross across his body. Oh. So, anything else? If you guys want to exchange information, this would be the time to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of go over to Ann and Bigsby, do some stuff there, and then we're going to fast forward into the morning.
I look at him and I say, just out of curiosity, have you seen anything strange on this train trip, even if you just thought it was your imagination?
Kind of shakes his head. No, sir. I can't say I have. But, I mean, that kid disappeared. Ain't nobody seen him yet.
Yes, we're keeping an eye on him as we go. If you happen to see a wandering kid,
How long can one kid stay gone for? He fell off the train, let's be honest.
it's possible, or he just found a cozy place to sleep that no one's thought to look.
He'll give a nod. Okay, so, no, he hasn't seen anything weird, and he's more than happy to keep an eye out, and he's got this scattergun here, chock full of lead that he will definitely put into anything that looks weird. But he'll check twice to make sure he doesn't blow the head off some little kid.
I pat him on the shoulder and I say, "Good man. Once you go get some coffee, we'll sit here and wait for you to get back."
Okay. All right, so you guys walk the train, show them where the back of the train is, show them the caboose is locked up. There, and the 13th car is locked as well. By the way, Bixby has keys, and he has given you guys keys. Given the Pinkerton keys to be able to lock and unlock, but he has not given out any other key. He has a key. The conductor has a key. He has a key. You have a key, and the engineer has a key. And those are the only people who have keys. He's giving you Pedro's key, by the way.
So, and I'll definitely thank him for that.
This key opens a lot of doors on the train that are still working. Like the one that she damaged, that one's not working anymore. It's just kind of being held shut with a piece of metal. So yeah, there we got it. So, and you and Bixby are walking toward the... I should say, his first name is Charles. You and Charles are walking toward the front of the train, and so you pass by the door you destroyed, you guys continue past, and then you get onto the flat cars. He takes you up on the side of the flat cars where there's a small walking path, and he's guiding you by the hand, wants to make sure you're doing okay, and as you walk by, and make another cognition check, because he's talking, he's being really nice, even now. No reason for him not to be nice. The difficulty was only going to be a 3 or 5, but you still make it, and you think he's being sweet on you. Like he's holding your hand. He's like, "Look out there. See those stars?" And he's talking about the stars and the...
Oh, man. I'll find excuses to kind of not have contact with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll see a piece of... I'll see something in one of the rooms and like have to touch it or like whatever like that, so that like I get my hands free and and stuff. Try to send the subtle messages.
Subtle messages. All right, so this is a persuasion to kind of give him the idea. And I'm trying to remember what persuasion falls under.
What's this big red button do?
It's under mean.
So if you don't have persuasion, you can mean it.
Oh, I have it.
Oh, good. And she rolls an amazing 16.
Subtle. I was very subtle there.
So you get to a point where it's some of the actual cars, not the flatbeds, and you get there, and he goes to take your hand to kind of walk you on, and you pull back for a moment, and he goes, "I understand. I'm just trying to be cordial. A mighty pretty woman like yourself out here, I just figured that maybe you're looking for company."
But I appreciate the compliment you pay me by your kind gesture and everything like that. But I'll kind of like play it off as like a woman can't go around traveling by herself and get herself a reputation.
He gives a nod. I apologize. I did, and since she rolled so high, he's like, you think he's blushing? He's like, I didn't mean that. I was just trying to be really nice. A woman traveling by herself. I just figured that maybe you were. I'm sorry. And you can see you get him a little bit frustrated, not like frustrated, but flustered, because he feels embarrassed at the same time, because he feels like he's overstepped his bounds.
I kind of put a hand on his arm and say, I don't doubt your good intentions at all, sir. I'm just.
All right, so to which he will take you to the front of the car. You'll get a chance to meet the engineer. Look, I don't have a name for the engineer, which means he'll probably die too. All right, I need a name for the engineer, chat. So you get a chance to go walk the rest of the trains. You pass through the car where the horses are at, because there's some horses on here. And you pass through, like the second car, not the second car of the train, the car past the horses. It's a bunch of cargo boxes, and they're marked with like this Chinese symbols. Do you speak Chinese or read Chinese?
I do not.
Okay.
But if I notice those, I'll kind of stop him, since I've been having the whole thing of I have to stop and touch everything anyway, and be like, what are these neat symbols, and what are in these boxes?
He'll stop and say, oh, this is going out west for the rail building and stuff. I think they're engine parts and might be explosives, but they would have symbols on them to let us know. Otherwise, it's just covered with that Chinese writing all over the place.
Can you read it?
Oh, no, I can't. I'm not educated that way.
I understand. I can't read it either, so I'll kind of make mental note that they're there, especially since they might have explosives.
Yes.
But I'll move on.
Oh, right. As you're getting farther along this train, walking through, this is a collection. This is and what I'm saying is, like, all the symbols are Chinese. You come across a really long box that you can see into, and it seems to be a nice collection of about 7 to 8, like, furs. And they don't look like they're bear furs or anything. They look orange and black striped furs on the inside of this box. There's a lot of unique materials in here. You pass by, I would describe it as a black marble coffin. It looks like it's coffin shape. It's more like a square pillar of some type. It's standing upright inside of a box, and it's not very well padded or packed. And when you get about a meter away from it, 3 feet, 1 yard. Sorry, this game used yards. You feel like something pulls on your insides. Like you're like, and it's like indigestion suddenly.
So it's not a good feeling.
Whatever this.
What's all this?
He goes.
What's all this material?
He shrugs. This is going up to Salt Lake City. He points at a little indicator on the box. There's a bunch of Mormons up there. You know what Mormons are, don't you?
I assume I know what Mormons are.
Yeah. He goes, there's one up there. He buys a whole bunch of stuff. His name's Hellstrom. And that's his cargo right here. And he points to a section of the train where there's like several crates. And he goes, this is going straight to him. Got his name on it. And he taps the box. And you see it says Hellstrom Industries on it.
What does Hellstrom Industries do?
Well, they make all sorts of stuff. Horseless carriages and... you know that Pinkerton fella?
Yeah.
They got a fancy pistol. You get a chance, take a look at it. Apparently, Hellstrom's the one that made that. At least that's what they say.
I'll kind of look impressed and continue on.
All right.
But I make note of that one too, because I might scope out what's in there if I feel like.
Of course. When you get away from the black marble obelisk, that sensation passes away. And you get to the main engine, where you get introduced to Edward McAllister, the chief engineer of the 877 Ironside. He happily describes to you the inner workings of the dual steam engine massive beast that he even points out like how fast, he just dirty old guy shoveling. It's him and this other dude who's nameless, just shoveling coal, running the engine, hanging out up front, eating sandwiches and stuff. But he shows you the engine. He's really impressed. He tells you, don't come too close. It's really dirty up here. You'll get it all over your clothes. The black soot doesn't come out.
Well, this is so different than what I expected. I'll ooh and ah a lot at what they show me.
Big old pit of fire in the center of it, getting shoveled with coal every once in a while. Heat spews out. They shut the little gate and steam rises out. He says if it wasn't nighttime and people were not sleeping, I would blow the whistle for you. You could hear how loud it is if you've never been up here before.
Oh, neat. Well, maybe another time.
He gives a nod. Bixby and him communicate about what's been going on, and he breaks the news to him about things. He says there was this happened. I don't understand it. There are 2 Pinkertons on the train, and it was after Miss McDade here, and he explains everything to the conductor and says, we need to be careful. Whatever all that's going on, whatever that was all about, doesn't feel safe. There's a priest on board who's did a blessing over all the bodies, and he just doesn't like the way this ride feels. So everybody stay sharp, because we already lost David and Pedro. The conductor, which spits and says, that's fine. David was Swedish. I never liked the Swedes. And so Bixby
There's the Old West.
hate somebody. Gotta toss it out there. Hate somebody. Bigsby will take you back to your... Actually, he'll take you back wherever you want to go. Back for coffee, to your room.
I think I'm going to call it a night. It's probably pretty late at this point anyway, and since I don't sleep, I can waste a few hours without having to occupy myself for an entire... So I'm just feeling a little sleepy now that I've been up and down this train 15 times tonight, and now the adrenaline's wearing off from that attack and the other attack, and I think I'd just like to settle in.
All right. He will let you... he'll let you be. He'll be like, okay, not a problem. I'm going to let you get some sleep, and I'm going to go get some sleep too, and I'm going to work things out, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Charles.
And he'll blush at you using his first name. All right. To which we're going to... everybody's pretty much... Unless the other 2 players have something they want to do this night, we're moving on to the next day. And we're going to actually take our break now. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes. So thank you very much for everybody for hanging out with us. We'll be right back. Let's see. Where's that button that moves us over to... I think this is it. this, and we're gonna appear back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It actually took 10 minutes. James was building himself something in his background. What is that in your background, James?
That is a Star Wars quilt on top of a mattress blocking my kitchen doorway.
And so he was building that thing, so it took him a minute to get it, everything situated.
Actually, I was grabbing a snack from the kitchen.
That's
so I was moving.
It's all good. I have got the roll thingy allocated. There we go. Is that the last? Yeah, that's great. Now we can see the dice rolls on the page, and everybody's like, yeah, I can see what you guys actually rolled. I'm pretty sure they're not saying that. Maybe they are. All right, welcome back. Last we left was coming to the end of the first night on the train. I didn't expect the train ride to take so long. That's a lie. Morning comes, and it's a refreshing event when the smell of pancakes waft through the air. For those of you who didn't go to sleep, Mr. Lockett has been going around the train and getting all the griddles running and making stacks for everybody. Breakfast being the meal that's served by the train, and then everybody else pretty much fends for themselves. Bacon, pancakes, and scrambled eggs with coffee are being offered in every car early in the morning. Mr. Lockett, along with the assistance of some of the passengers, get breakfast prepped. It's not as happy as it could possibly be, but the sun has come up. The train is loud, and you guys can see quite a distance of the horizon. The territory surrounding in Oklahoma is pretty flat. Pretty flat is an understatement. Like, it's flatter than a sheet of paper. And this area is definitely applies here. Webb, you and Walter were in the last passenger car, right? Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, you and Walter and Ollie were all in the last passenger car, and Father Cross, you were supposed to be in the business car, but you settled up into the last passenger car with everybody else. And Ann McDade is in the front passenger car. Okay. Just making sure I got a good idea where it's going on. You guys, Whiskey has taken over the back passenger car making flapjacks. He's up early. He's wearing his pants. He's wearing his night outfit, his pajamas, long johns. That's what they're called. He's wearing his long johns and a pair of pants with suspenders as he sits over the griddle, and he's making pretty sizable flapjacks. While up in the front car, Mr. Lockett's making silver pancakes for everybody. And you're getting a whiff of the air. You're looking around. You're coming awake. You stayed up after patrolling the train. You stayed up probably a little bit longer than you thought you could. Sometimes it's hard to get to sleep with loud noises. Sometimes you have to medicate. And so you medicated last night. Very little, because you didn't want to actually sleep too hard for fear of something, happening, and then you're groggy, So as all this noise and whatnot is getting started, Walters is still passed out into the car seat next to you. You wake up, and you don't know how long you've been asleep, maybe 4 hours. And as you're watching the events of people moving about, it's very comfortable. The train ride feels fine. Everything's moving along. And gazing out into the distance on the plains surrounding the train itself, you think you can see a man on horseback. As you're looking in the distance, you can, because the train's moving along probably about a good 25, 30 miles an hour, just clipping away. You think you can see a man in the distance on a horseback. From a distance, he looks like he might be an Indian because he has feathers in his hair. What did you like to do?
Very, very, very slowly and very groggily. When I get up and see him, I'm just going to kind of blink and rub my eyes, kind of like, And then once I think I see the headdress, I'm going to get up and start moving to try and get some of the other folks up, Bixby, everybody else. So.
Sure. Now, this man that you're seeing on horseback is probably about 100 yards, 200 yards easily away from the side of the train. On a somewhat of a higher, the train is on a rise. He is sitting on like a small hill in a grassy area. His horse is. And so he could probably catch up. But the land is so flat, you can see that there's nobody around him. You get up. You know Bixby is toward the front of the train. Walters is right next to you. It's just one Indian. So let's wake up everybody. Who's the first person you're going to wake up?
Naturally would be my partner.
Okay.
And then I'm going to...
What?
I do believe we may have a scout for another attack incoming.
I smell pancakes and bacon.
I do too. That being said, I have a feeling we may have visitors a lot sooner again.
Okay. So he moves over to the window and starts looking.
I'll point out where...
There's no one there.
Fun. If he mentions that there's no one there...
No, you don't see anybody. You took your eyes off, you looked at Walter, you turned your head back, started pointing. Now there's no one there. The train continues to move by, and there's no lone Indian on a horse.
Okay. I think it's just my eyes are probably playing tricks on me right now.
He looks at you.
Stressing.
The smell of bacon and your nerves have gotten the better of you, good friend, and he slaps you on the back. You need strong coffee and some whiskey. Here, take some of this, and he hands you a vial filled with opium and other kinds of distillates. And he says, this will definitely knock the edge off. Oh, I got good sleep, so I'm ready for another day. Cracks his knuckles. As long as the train doesn't get attacked by strange things at night. I passed out well before, and he starts rambling on about how he got tired, and he kept checking up with anybody, and he didn't get a chance to find the body, and blah, 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 and he doesn't stop, man. Like, he's talking so loud that you notice the guy who's asleep across the way kind of reach up and pick his hat up like, what the fuck? Oh, God.
I hold my hand up as very much like an apologies. My partner is a chatterbox to the gentleman who lifted his hat, and then I'm like, it's too early for this. So I'm gonna make my way to the kitchen. There is bacon. There is coffee. There's pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
I need food.
The grizzled old veteran looks at you as you walk in. Conductor says only 3 per person, but I've made enough for 5 per person. He scoops up a big pile of pancakes, slaps it up there with some bacon, pours you some coffee, and you begin indulging in some of the more simpler things in life, and is pouring excessive amounts of maple syrup over the top of that stack. You wander to have a seat, and you see that there are a few kids have already started lining up and mowing into their food. During the whole process of doing so, one little girl looks over and says, Natty, are you enjoying your pancakes? And you perk up for a moment, you look over, and there's this little blonde boy just shoveling pancakes into his mouth. And you're like, because he's probably like 3 foot and skinny. This is the kid that they were all looking for last night.
I've not got enough coffee for this. I kind of muttered to myself, take some more, drink some more coffee.
Fair enough. All right.
Coffee first, then the kid.
Father Cross, you get woke up to the sound of dishes being clanked and slight merriment as people are starting to sing little gospel hymns in the early morning.
Okay. I sit up for a moment. I let the thought of it's too early slip through my head. And I will go through my usual morning routine, morning prayer,
Sure.
Straighten myself up and go to get breakfast.
Sure. You two come to the realization that Natty is back, and part of the gathering, and the old grizzled, aggravated whiskey is dishing up breakfast. So you get a chance to spend in some early morning. They actually put their forks down as soon as you show up and ask for you to do a prayer. You do so, and everybody is just in much better mood than they were last night, considering. I lost something. I found it. We're good now.
I look at Maddie and I say, and where were you hiding?
Shoves a wad of pancakes into his mouth and doesn't seem to have an answer.
Figures.
Right.
Yeah, I will bless the food and I will thank Whiskey when he hands me a plate, and I will sit down and begin eating myself.
Excellent. One second. Okay. And finally, you haven't been to sleep yet, so you've pretty much just hung out. But after, I'm assuming, around 5:30, 6 o'clock, people started stirring again. That's when Mr. Lockett began banging around in the kitchen, and you started hearing noise other than just the train itself. Anne?
Yeah, I'll kind of get up but arrive late so I can miss most of breakfast. And also just make the excuse, I was up late with all the anticipation and all the adrenaline going, and so my stomach's just not quite awake enough to accept food at this time.
Excellent. Maybe some coffee instead.
Sounds great, and I add a lot of whiskey.
Add a lot of whiskey. All right. Mr. Lockett happily obliges. The morning rolls on. The train is going kind of like at a moderate pace, but you guys have a chance to enjoy the scenery and move about some. Bixby doesn't show up to probably about 7 to walk around and greet everybody and get himself some of the leftovers. The same with Mr. Malone as he comes back from doing a patrol, going to the back of the train. Him and Bixby are going to go into the back of the train and organize some stuff close to lunch. And the Miss Thompson will let you know that because her husband isn't around, there's a little bit of extra food. So during lunchtime, if you would like, you can come spend with them. If you want.
I will.
Excellent. All right. And at this point in time during the breakfast, is there anything you guys particularly would like to do before I kind of just like flow on into this next bit?
Not really for me, considering I was up most of the night helping with making sure the train was fine during the night. and then now on a full stomach, I'm going back to sleep.
Excellent.
Dr. Webb will look at the nice young lady and kind of, as he's sipping some of his coffee, so how did things between you and Bixby?
I totally play it off as, I got to see the engine, and I think I might go back up there today. They said they'd blow the whistle.
Sorry, part of me is wanting to make a joke, the other part of me is wanting to be slightly serious about this and try to take it serious.
Just realized what I said. Cool. The whistle did not get blown last night.
That's a phrase, that kind of terminology probably didn't exist right about then. So yeah.
I hate you all.
Oh.
What did I do?
All right.
You laugh.
You encouraged this.
You opened the door.
All right. So,
Guys, I have a Google Home Mini, and it just went, I can laugh on command, and giggled really creepily, and I'm upset.
You should leave your house.
Finally, a weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
Google Home Mini. I can laugh too, you know. What? I'm sorry. Shit.
Yep, I'm upset, guys. I'm not sleeping tonight.
Unplug that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All right. This is the future we wanted. Okay. So, breakfast, conversation, and day goes rolling in. Do you during closer to lunchtime? Were you interested in meeting with Thompson?
Yep.
Okay. Father Cross, did you want to do anything other than sleep?
I'm pretty sure I'll end up waking up around lunch because I'm sure the noise will pick back up with all the clanging and stuff of different people making lunches and stuff.
Right. That would be, not a problem. All right. So you'll wake up around lunch. All right. So, Webb, you're the man. After having coffee and spending breakfast and whatnot and seeing McDade, what else did you want to do with yourself? You have patience.
Yeah, it's pretty much rounds after this, so I'm gonna...
So let's take our patience. We've got Scurvy Lady. We've got Cholera Dude. We got Concussion from Ollie.
I'll let him know I'd like him to take a look at my leg because I'm pretty sure that it's sore.
Oh, yeah, you had to sleep funny just to make sure you could get to sleep. And then Father Cross, so that's four patients right there. Who do we want to see first?
Well, I know what's going on with cholera and scurvy, and I know what's going on with Ollie, so might as well handle the good doctor.
Okay. You pull up his pants leg. He has a piece of shrapnel stuck into it. It's sticking out probably about a quarter of an inch, and the backside of his leg is pretty freaking bloody.
Tell me, good doctor, how long have you had?
Remember when you found us on top of the train? Right before that.
And why did you not volunteer this information?
Honestly, we had other concerns at the time, and I was trying to ignore.
All right. So, do you want to make a medicine roll to patch the priest up?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Go ahead and drop some dice.
I will say, just being slightly petty, Dr. Webb will not be super nice, for lack of a better word, about getting it together.
And how are your wounds doing?
Looking down at where I'd been
Shot.
Shot earlier.
Yeah.
I'm still amongst the living and slightly less wounded than your leg, good sir.
So
My wounds aren't currently bleeding. Yours are.
Yours also doesn't have shrapnel in it because it was a clean graze, while his does have a piece of metal in it. So you pull out an inch-long piece of metal from the back of his leg, which looks like the part of the firing pin for a Winchester 73.
Yeah, whoever had this is not going to be needing it anymore.
And James, go ahead and knock off one of those 2 wounds as he patches you up.
Okay.
All right, Doctor, you head. Who's your next patient you're going to go see?
Let's see. I'm going to do a quick once-over of the of Ollie, who is unconscious still.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to check it. I'm going to just do a basic glance over, like, okay, he's still breathing.
Mm-hmm.
A little mirror to his nose. Okay, he's good.
All right. You pack all your stuff up, and he's been put into his own little area where they've kindly put up curtains around his stall so he can sleep. And so you're packing your bag up, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of your eye, you see that on the raised part of dirt that's along the side of the train, there's that Indian again. No horse this time. And the train goes flying past him, and you get a chance to look at his face, hair blowing in the wind, and he's staring right fucking into you, man. It's like, just a moment, and it's like the train slowed down as you're looking at him. It's an old Indian, wrinkly skin, gray, black, white hair, and he's got like some sort of staff in hand, and he's got this frown on his face. He's really sad looking, like staring at you as the train goes flying past. The feathers on the top of the head seem to be the same. The drapery that's holding on to him seems to be the exact same.
Time for good old-fashioned opium, because this is getting too weird. So, dosing myself just a little bit, just enough to make sure I'm not hallucinating, and then on to the next.
All right. You move on to the cholera dude, and you make sure that he's doing okay. You check up on Miss Thompson, and was it Miss Thompson had the scurvy? I don't think it was.
No, I don't think so.
No,
it wasn't.
Okay.
Because if she loses her husband and has scurvy, just lady.
It was
having a rough time.
It was a nameless passenger.
Okay.
Yeah, NPC number C, I think.
Fair enough. All right, and so you check up on all the patients. Around noon-ish, past noon, yeah, we'll say past noon. You've left Mrs. Thompson's room at the little quarter area, and you're heading back up to your car, to get a change, or you're just heading in that direction. And there is, of the rooms, the private rooms that go along, it's about the 6th one back. It's about the middle way of the car. And in the hallway, there's the banker and the accountant and Mr. Lockett, the conductor. They're standing at the front of the door, and they're blocking the passageway for you to get past, pretty much. And they seem to be trying to get into this room. This is not the banker and the accountant's room. The accountant is standing farther back, but the banker and Mr. Lockett are right up next to the door.
Gentlemen, is everything okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Anne. She's going back to her room.
So I've got the accountant, the banker, and who else?
Mr. Lockett.
Hello, gentlemen. Good morning. Or good afternoon, I guess.
The banker doesn't look up too much, but because he goes back to wiggling the key and stuff like that. They seem to have a key for the door. Mr. Lockett turns and says, "Oh, I apologize. We're blocking the way. If you could just wait for a minute, we'll be out of the way." And he raps on the door again. "Hello? Hello?"
Is there a problem?
The banker looks up and he just has a look of disdain on his face. Maybe it's because he's talking to a woman. Maybe it's because he's got to explain it again. Because it smells like the room's on fire.
And it's locked?
The Mr. Lockett says, "Yes, and this key works on every one of these doors. But it's just not working on this one." The banker's like, "I tell you, get me a bar and I'm strong enough to pry it open. I'll just throw my weight into it." And the Mr. Lockett's like, no, Miss Lorraine this is her room. She might be in there, you know. I don't think you should be barging in like this. Just give me a minute to figure out this key. Let me get Mr. Bigsby up here to fix it. And the conductor at this point in time, Mr. Lockett, tells them, wait for Mr. Bigsby. And then he turns and he excuses himself past you.
Do you want to stay with the door in case there is a fire? I can go get Mr. Bigsby.
He gives a nod. That would be great. If you could hurry. He's back in the caboose.
That's what she said. I'll run like the wind. And I take off running down the...
All right.
Down the train.
Just what we need right now. It's noon the next day and someone's already running somewhere. All right. Father Cross, you've sat up. You're eating some sandwiches with some of the kids as they're reading some from the Bible for you and with you. And Webb, you've sat down next to Walter, who has gotten some scones and tea. What happens? Describe your character, like running through, like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I just I've got like a cluster of skirt in one hand, and I'm just kind of racing through the hallways of the trains toward the back, because in case there's a fire, that wouldn't be a good thing. So I have some wiggle in my...
Is everything all right, miss?
I just need to find Mr. Bixby. He's needed up front.
I was about to say, is it involving one of the keys? Because I may be able...
It does. They do have a key stuck. I kind of call over my shoulder because I'm like still running.
Alright, then I'll get up, grab one of the scones, preferably one that...
Walter gets up too.
As does Father Cross.
Walter says, a stuck lock. I have tools for that. And he begins rummaging into his bag.
Well, let's first see what the status is before we have to start lockpicking. It may just be someone's got the key stuck, so...
All right. You head up, and you see the same situation. The conductor, the banker, and the accountant. The accountant's gone by now. He's like, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to be on the side of the train that's not on fire. We're good. He's not that kind of person. And you arrive, and now there are 5 people in the hallway. Sorry, 6 people. You, Walter, Father Cross, the fat accountant, Mr. Lockett, 5 people. And you're all trying to play with this key. They have a key too, but the key doesn't seem to be unlocking the door.
And they explain the burning?
You can smell something too, but you're not sure what it is. But James, you recognize the smell of burning incense. Not frankincense and myrrh, something you might catch in a temple. It's a bit heavier. Something else. Maybe neared.
I look at them and I say, "Gentlemen, it's incense."
The fat banker looks at you and says, "Burning things on a train? How daft could she be?"
I look at him and say, "How do you think you got your breakfast this morning?"
That's a controlled fire in some place that's safe. This is in her room.
And incense is a controlled burn.
He just looks at you and says, "Father, that smell is too heavy. There's something on fire in this room." Mr. Lockett agrees because he can point out that the smell's pretty heavy, and he's knocking and no one's answering the door. He turns to look. Can either of you open this door?
How long did the three of us assist to try playing with the stuck key in the lock?
How long to what? I'm not sure your question.
Well, you said we showed up and then we were messing with the lock and the stuck key.
Oh, I apologize then. Those are terrible words. You showed up and they are playing with.
All right.
The conductor's like,
I
"I've
look-
got an idea," and he walks off.
Where are you going, Walters? Dr. Walters.
Dr. Walters is standing right there. He's like, "I've gone nowhere, but I've got my bag of tools."
Once the... I was about to say, I'm assuming the banker and accountant have left, right? Just
No, the
to-
banker's
so-
still there, but the accountant has left.
Dr. Webb, do you think with it being that strong, the window's probably closed? Dr. Walters, why don't you see if you can get through the door? I want to see if I can get a look at the window.
Okay, so you're going to go...
I'm going to drag Dr. Webb with me.
Okay,
I
so
don't want to fall off the side.
so you're going to go to the edge of the train and look out?
Yes, I'm going to go in between the cars and see, look at it from the side.
Okay.
And if it's closed, then I'll go up onto the roof.
It is closed.
Have I mentioned I dislike this train?
Oh, right. At this point, you two are out. I'm assuming, Dr. Webb, you're helping making sure the priest doesn't fall off the train, or did you stay in the hallway?
I did make sure before he goes up on the roof, however, I'm like, may I try one thing? Because I'm going to head back to the door if I can and
All right.
pull Mr. Waters away, and I'm going to try my key to see if it'll get it to him.
Mr. Walters has got a crowbar and he's trying to shimmy at it and everything. You pull your key out and you stick it into the lock, and as you're coming, you're heading back up to the train, heading back with Bigsby and everything. You have an odd sense of something, like you feel something. You remember when that pillar thing up front, when you felt it real close, kind of like a wash comes over you. You stab your key in, and there's a bit of spark as you crank it to one side, and the door kind of makes a fizz pop noise as it seems to be unlocked at this point in time. And do you say anything in response to this? It's an audible. Almost like a booby trap.
I'm gonna very slowly remove the key from the door. Hopefully it's not been destroyed.
Yeah, the key's fine. As you pull the key out to look at it, the banker's like, why are we wasting time with this? And he grabs the door and he just pushes the damn thing open. On the other side, there's a woman who then's like, what? Stop! And she's trying to jump up and shut the door as quickly as possible. Scrutinize from you, Mr. Webb.
Ah, the one I don't have.
Oh, then just do a cognition check. A 4. You are so bewildered by this key. You notice nothing. The woman jumps up and pushes the door back as best as she possibly can. The banker, on the other hand, doesn't take that as an opportunity, and he begins going, Lordy, what in the hells is that? As he's trying to push back against this girl who's fighting with him at this point in time. And so you're kind of bewitched by this key because it does have burn marks on it. Like, wow, how did this key burn in the lock, you know? And as you come to your realization, because you're like out of it for a moment, you look up, and the girl who's fighting seemed to keep the door shut. She's losing it, but she's got her foot propped against it. You see something that looks like a weird circle drawn on the ground of her cabin, and there's candles, black candles on the floor. The banker's yelling, she's a witch! Oh my... Get the priest up here! Someone get up here! She's trying to kill us all!
Real fast.
Yep.
Academia occult.
Yes. You have that skill?
I have 3 ranks in it.
3! You're skilled in... Yeah, that's some sort of, It's not a pentagram. It's definitely one of the older arcane symbols from ancient druidic magic.
Okay, so...
This man throws the door open. She is knocked to the ground.
Okay. And at that point, I will be official. I will also elbow my partner so he's official. He knows, okay, we're on the clock. Before breaking up the badge, and it's like, look, this is definitely my problem, not yours. So, with that being said, return to your rooms. Mr. Conductor, if you'll please just carry us on. Me and my partner, we will get to the bottom of this.
Persuasion.
But, I was about to say, but we cannot do this with you here. And instead of persuasion, may I attempt an over...
You can.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I have nothing in persuasion.
So pretty much you're going back off.
Yeah, using the badge like, look, this is our job.
All right.
Not yours.
The banker who talks to people all the time and deals with overall really knows how to deal with people like you. And so this is an opposed roll. You got a 4, which doesn't beat a 5, so you're not successful. Your voice crackles as you try to raise it and tell him where to go.
If he decides to keep standing there and making a scene, the overall is very quickly going to be followed behind with a good old-fashioned haymaker.
Fair enough. He got a 7. So he looks down at you. Official? This woman... And at this point in time, I want to cut in and say, Father Cross, you are, at this point in time, you've stopped where you're at. You can hear these yelling. Also, Bigsby and Anne have showed up at your same position, so everybody can hear these next words. Official, that woman is practicing black magic, and we have already had more than enough terrible things happen on this train. Least we have a witch running around. And he's pushing past, grabbing a hold of her all at the same time, and he's yanking her out into the hallway. Because be damned with your tiny little badge.
Okay. So...
Who wants to go first?
I would.
Okay.
Okay, back when he said, hold on, I want to try something, and he pulled out the key to go back to the door, I waited.
Yes.
Where I was at, and I was
Yes.
watching him.
You could not see them from that position,
Right.
but you could hear.
But when I hear the real loud screaming of she's practicing black magic
Right.
with Bixby and Anne there, I would have started walking in.
Okay.
Back into the car, which you said it was about the middle.
Sure. Yes. Yes. It is. It is.
Okay. So about the time he's coming back out, I go, if she's practicing black magic, then this is my purview.
Okay. Okay. Another official has appeared. And do you want? You've come at this point. The priest has stepped forward. He's yelling, This is church business. Let me have the witch." All right. Sorry, I don't know if you would use the word witch, but I'm pretty sure you would say, "This is church. If she's practicing black magic, this is my business." And Miss Lorraine, like I said, she was one. You remember when you loaded in? She was one of the young ladies that loaded in with you. You don't remember her with people, but she's probably about your age, and she's being dragged out of her room into the hallway by the fat banker.
I'm gonna watch for right now and kind of hands up to my mouth, gasp, and watch what happens. I don't like the way he's putting his hands on her.
Mm-hmm.
But there's several people between me and them right now, and again, I don't want to give myself away, so I will wait.
Don't worry, the priest has this.
All right, so right now the Pinkerton is attempting to overall. The banker is ignoring your overall. James, what happens when if you pass an overall, you get a chip, right?
No, it all depends on you. Like, if he gets, say, 5 or more raises, if you decide to give us a chip on a contested roll, that's on you. But there's no rules on when you would give us any sort of chips for rewards.
There were no raises, so we're not going to worry about it then. All right.
Now,
are you going to persuade or overall?
Now, I look at him and, trying to be the nice guy, I say, and I will try persuade, and I simply say, hand her over to me. I will deal with it. That's as simple as I go for the moment, hoping that kindness comes out first.
Ooh, a 5.
And thanks to my wound, it will be a 4.
That's correct. He will yell, "You handle this! Everything the church touches, they muck up. You'll probably muck this up, too."
Okay.
The best way to handle this is the way the people have always handled it.
Then he's got a gun in his face, and I go to overall. Hand her over.
All right, so you're drawing a gun.
Yeah. And
anybody else want to draw a gun?
I mean, I was hoping to avoid this, but the Gatling pistol will definitely come out.
Right.
And not up and obvious, but just you can tell it's been drawn and it's in his hand.
And?
No. The barrel
Hold up. And?
My pistol is at the side of his nose.
I got that.
I have one of my edges is the voice, and since I sing too, like that's been part of it. But I get a +2 persuasion to calm encounters. So I'm like, as this banker is making an ass out of himself, I kind of want to scold him, "Sir, behave like a gentleman," and see if that can calm him.
All right. Do it. Yes. I love the name.
And I get a +2 to that, so 10.
Oh, that was much better than I was expecting. I was putting it at a 7 for everybody. Nobody's. So you definitely rolled better.
This is what I'm built to do, y'all.
As well as me.
All right. So as you guys draw guns on the banker, or you put a gun in the banker's face, the Pinkerton pulls a gun. The banker is not armed, but he doesn't let go of the girl even though you put a gun into his face. It's when Anne calls upon his better nature as a gentleman to bring it down that actually affects him. And as you realize, Father Cross, you're keeping an eye, because this guy's probably about 6'2", close to 300 pounds, is you've got the gun up here and you're keeping a bead on him. Webb, you're holding your pistol in your hands. You look down and his other hand has a derringer in it. So the banker actually had a gun out, drawn too, and would have been able to fire back at you guys. So this was... someone would have gotten shot in the guts. And so you realize the situation is pretty tense. And as you call out, the banker lets the girl go and then just makes sure to move his derringer to be pointed toward Father Cross's guts. You better... and he doesn't call for a gun to be put away or nothing. He just lets the girl go at this point in time. That voice, by the way, is part of your special abilities, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's now paying attention to you.
Oh boy, I'm a leader now. I drop the force that's behind my voice, but I reach for what's the girl doing right now?
She's pulled herself away from the banker and she squeezed herself behind Father Cross.
Does she look afraid?
She's terrified.
I kind of reach for her and pull her toward me. Come with me, honey. We'll get to safety.
All right. Upon touching her, grabbing hold of her wrist to pull her towards you, you notice, make a scrutinize or cognition if you don't have scrutinize.
Okay, cognition.
Yes. Damn, you're rolling good. You see her tuck a pack of playing cards into her outfit, her like a little pouch that she's got. And she's clutching onto these playing cards and she immediately tucks them into her pouch.
We're in my car, right? Can I just pull her into my compartment?
Yes, you can pull her past the banker and everything at this point in time. These boys can dissolve the situation on their own.
We'll let these posturing gentlefolk here decide how they want to represent their gender, and we're going to go in here while things settle, all right?
Do you want to go into her room or do you want to go into your room?
We're going to go into my room.
All right. You take her into the room and you shut the door. And
I am not moving a muscle until they go past us, and once I hear the door to Anne's room close,
right,
then I'm slowly pulling the peacemaker back.
Okay.
And I'm gonna holster it.
Okay. That's when you realize that you have a derringer pointed at your guts. Webb?
I see him starting to lower, but I have a feeling the good banker isn't all that good. So the pistol still has not been. It's not been reholstered, but it's definitely very loud that it's now armed. So if he takes a shot, he's getting a bag full of automatic in the back.
Okay.
Are you really going to shoot an unarmed man? Especially one that's a priest.
The banker says, I saw how fast you drew. I'm not stupid. Bigsby steps in. Well, neither you need to be dumb and everybody needs to put their guns away. Gives a nod to the banker. Put it away. Gives a nod to you. Put it away. Toward the Pinkerton, I should say.
Such gentlemen.
Go ahead.
I will once I notice he starts to lower his, but it's definitely one of those, if it's not moving, mine's not moving.
Right. All right. He hesitates, but then he does start to put it away when Bixby has to ask a second time. The guns get put away, and we're going to slide in the last few minutes inside Anne's room. As you pull the woman in, she looks to you and she says in Dutch something quietly under her breath.
Do you speak English, honey?
She says in broken English, my English bad.
What? Can you tell me what happened?
She says something in French now to see if you speak French.
I don't speak anything, honey, other than English.
She speaks in bad English. She goes, it's hard to tell. Master Lemon would say that this train is cursed, that this train is going to hell.
Were you doing magic? I kind of wave my fingers, like, to try to...
She's shh. No.
Were you praying? And I make the symbol for, like...
No. I was, And she's like, yes, praying. I was praying for help. And she says, this train is cursed. I got on and now I just want to get off. Something bad is going to happen.
Do you know what?
No. I saw it in my dreams last night. It's going to come and it's going to be on this train. And it's going to be bad. Master Lemore tells me to always believe my dreams.
What are those cards in your pocket, honey?
They're just playing cards. They're nothing.
May I see them?
Alright. She really likes you, and so she's super hesitant about pulling her cards out to reveal them to you. It's a deck of Hoyle playing cards, it looks like. Very articulate looking backings to them and whatnot. The cards look like they've seen some wear and tear.
But it just looks like a normal deck.
Deck of playing cards, yeah.
While she's holding them, can I reach out and touch them and see, like, if I get that feeling of foreboding? Or...
Fuck yeah, there's that pop sensation. Like that movement through your body. She looks to you. Mon ami. And she reaches out to touch you. Because she saw that when you touched the cards, you're like, the sensation moved through your body.
Before she can, like, touch me, like, anywhere, like, I just kind of pat her hand instead.
Mm-hmm.
That way, like, the cold isn't lasting.
Bam.
But I see how scared she is, and I don't think she was doing anything to hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many days are we till Dodge?
You're in the middle of the second day. This is a 2.5 long day train ride.
All right, so
we have technically, finger quotes, 1 day left to Dodge.
We're we're almost there, honey. I think that if we can just all group together and stay safe, and defend each other, we'll be all right. So, would you like to stay in this compartment with me?
She just stares at you and she's like, we must get off this train. I'm so afraid. I don't know. My master, he left me in New Orleans. I don't know what to do. I knew that he was coming to Dodge. I'm following him.
We'll get you to Dodge safely. I promise. You have my word. Ain't no banker or no man on this train or off this train that's gonna hold us back.
She'll smile.
And I'll pat her cards.
The sensation is like a numb sensation, like the pop that runs through your body every single time, and you feel that something inside you just kind of like wiggles and wiggles every time now that you've done it more than once. And whatever's wiggling, it sends you feel it say to you, stop touching those. I don't like them.
Ooh.
Whatever inside of you moved told you that.
Well, that's weird. So I'll kind of like pull back from him, but still kind of nod at her reassurance.
She takes the cards and she slides them back in and sticks them into her pocket. Thank you. I stay here with you. I'm sorry if I hurt him. I don't know what I was doing. And she begins to paint a picture of, like, in a way, as we're going to pan out, she's trying to explain to you, I was only trying to do what's right. I'm so afraid. I just want to find my master. And we go back to the other car where the banker is now arguing with the priest that circle and those pictures on the ground are black magic and that woman's a witch and we need to deal with him. So it's no longer guns in the hallways, it is now words. And I'm sure Father Cross has plenty of good words to explain to this guy, don't be a dick, at this point.
I look at him and I say, so you are an expert in magic. Perhaps when we get to Dodge, I should contact the church and have them investigate you then. Because only an expert in magic would know what black magic looks like.
He's like, I've
and
read
I'm
stories.
Gonna start going. I say, I'm sure you have.
All right.
But only the church knows specifically what black magic looks like.
We're going to call game here at this point in time. We're in a tense situation. Ollie's going to be coming back next game session like, yeah, we got off the train. And be like...
We're a little more than halfway there, Ollie.
Yes.
No, the train doesn't stop. That's just it. The whole campaign's on this one train. We're already dead, fellas.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and at some point we're going to be like, wait a minute. Weren't we supposed to get off at Dodge? You're on your way to Dodge. That was a week ago. Or a month ago.
We're dodging Dodge.
Nah, I know exactly where this train's taking us, fellas. Pack your bags, boys. We're going to the city of Lost Angels.
Well, if the train could go that far, no rails go that far just yet.
Ghost train!
Ghost train! All right, let's talk about bounty after the show comes to an end. We got a couple of minutes to do our little spiels for our wonderful audience who stuck with us. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little slice of Deadlands life, because that's pretty much what we were going for. Bam, bam, bam. All right, so as far as bounty goes, everybody's going to get 2 bounty. I'll even give Rusty bounty, even though he wasn't here. He deserves it. He's part of the whole kabang. Plus, I put his character in a concussion, which he didn't actually have a concussion. You guys did a lot of really good role-playing tonight. Like, I really felt like as I tossed out things and y'all moved forward, y'all were like, you guys are really in it. And the normal, like, game setup, it's 1 to 2 bounty per session and then extra. I just don't feel that fits, so I'm going to give everybody like 3 bounty. We haven't moved to the next plot point, and so there's 3 bounty.
Yeah, I think Rusty did really well in being in a coma. I believed it.
Totally bought that he was in a coma. Cool. Let's do our end show stuff.
What's the maximum amount of chips we're allowed to end with?
You can have no more than 10, but I'm turning some of mine in for bounty. But go ahead and do the end of spiels.
Yeah, so you need to lose. So next game, if you don't spend any of your chips, next game you'll have 12 chips. At the end of next game, you won't.
And white chips are 1 bounty, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that add to our total bounty or just the current value?
Total and current.
Cool beans. I think I'm going to get rid of 3.
Go for it.
As am I.
All right, so OBS, Adventure Bound. I just went back into World of Warcraft days. I haven't been in that guild I was never in that guild. I don't own that guild. So original box set is back on the air. We're getting things picked back up. It was a slow winter. When I take off in December, it's because of the divorce agreement to swap kids out, and it pretty much destroys 3 weekends. And so I just spend as much time with my kids. That's why we take December off. But we're back in, and it will be... We should have no problem with our next show being... Nope, February 2nd is actually not going to work because I will be... No, February 2nd will work. I will be in town. So February 2nd is right now the projected date unless something changes. And I will catch up with the rest of the cast to make sure that that day works for them. We have a Numenera game that's going to be picked up on the 5th maybe or the 29th. I think we're doing it on the 29th. And when it comes up to... I've got a lot of ideas rolling around in my head, and I'm trying to pick out my next kind of game I start throwing out on Fridays. Right now I'm working a lot of overtime, so I won't be doing anything until February. I've had some Battletech thoughts. I've been thinking about some short shot Shadowrun games and stuff like that, and we'll be doing casting calls onto our Discord channel. So
please pick me for Shadowrun.
Speaking of...
here is our website. Go ahead.
For those of you that have been watching and, have been wanting to see how to get into one of our games, this casting call is the perfect way to do that. And, we love new players. And
this is the Discord button thingy. Come on,
yep.
Paste, do it. I think that's what that should lead to our Discord to join our Discord channel. I gotta give that to somebody else. I just remembered. We will be. Oh man, there's another channel we just met while I was at one of our cons. We're going to be trying to be pulling them into the loop as well. Get some other kind of like things going on. Anyways, join our Discord channel. There's our website. You can find our calendar on there. Our calendar is also a Google Calendar, so you got a Google Calendar. You can click on the links in the calendar, and it will add to your Google Calendar. Shit, that was a lot. I'm done. Somebody else do something.
All right, I'll take my turn. So I am the owner of Rum Alternities Productions, and we've been talking about Chicago Shadows. We did a Kickstarter this summer that got funded, and we finally have our shoot dates. So we are shooting February 28th through March 2nd, which, by the way, I think is supposed to be a Deadlands weekend, so I will not be able to do anything then. But once that's done, we are expecting to have the final product to us by mid-April, and then we'll be around the con circuit for the summer. So follow us on Facebook and Twitter and watch our website, and we'll have lots of info coming out about sneak peeking at our locations and some of our cast and cool stuff like that. So check us out.
Can you get us that link into Facebook or something? Drop it
Working
into the
on
chat.
it.
Yeah, do that. Because I want to share your great work with everyone else. So, bam.
Thanks.
Of course. Of course. Soy Mage, you got anything?
Immediately, right this second, no.
Cool.
Due to personal stuff, I've not really been working on either my stuff for New Jersey by Night or my D&D setting. So, unfortunately, I've been in a little bit of a that I need to get back to work on those.
Oh, dude, I understand, man. I am drained. Having these last 2 game sessions, this game session tonight and the one on Wednesday, has actually perked me up and actually made me feel motivated to do stuff because, like yesterday, I spent 9 hours playing a video game and I felt terrible about it. I blew stuff up in the video game, which was cool, and then I shot aliens and I wrecked a ship and it got caught on fire, and then there was a nuclear bomb, but I was bored with it for 9 hours.
I was going to say, if it was any of the Total War games, I would understand spending 9+ hours, but not the feeling bad.
Excellent. James, do you got anything to share?
Mainly for anyone that does not belong to our Discord chat, join it. We have some great discussions. We like just hanging out, joking around with each other, but we do have our game concepts. If anyone out there does their own tabletop gaming, feel free to come in just to bounce ideas off of.
Heck
a bunch
yeah.
of us.
I agree, Radio. I'm definitely... You saw that little blurb I had about Mech Warrior that I put into the general chat. I'm totally still hung up on that one. I haven't let it go. It's in my brain. That might be something. That might be where I'm going to. All right. We are done. So, I think this is it. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I'm Max, the Marshal, and with us has been Sarah, Soy Mage, and James. And we will catch you guys in 2 weeks. Bye. Where's the stop button?
Bye.
Bye.